Hello, and welcome to the Coachman. For today's reading, we're going to be going back, for us, back to a similar story that is similar to Mr. Rudyard Kipling's. One of those like how the camel got his hump, how I think it's how the rhinoceros got his skin. But this one is actually all the way from South Africa, and it's Sunny Mettelerkamp and how the jackal got his stripe. The son was a strange little child, said Alto. He never had any papa or mama. No one knew where he came from. He was just found by the roadside. In the olden days, when the men of the ancient race, the old people that lived so long ago, were trekking in search of game, they heard a little voice calling. It was not a springboks. It was not a tarantula. It was not a little ostrich. They couldn't think what it is, but it kept on keeping on. Alto's head nodded in time to his repetitions. Why didn't they go and look? Said Willem. They did, my Bassie. They hunted about amongst the milk bushes by the roadside, and at last, under one of them, they found a nice brown baby. Probably a cute baby like me. But like an old child, and sparks of light as bright as the sparks from Alto's tinderbox seemed to fly out of his eyes. When he saw the men, he began calling again. Carry me, pick me up and carry me. Ah, he can talk, said the man. What a fine little child. Where have your people gone, and why did they leave you here? But the little son wouldn't answer them at all. All he said was, Put me in your allsack. I'm tired. I can't walk. One of the men went to pick him up, but when he got near, he said, Oh, but he's hot. The heat comes out of him. I won't take him. How can you be so silly? Said another man. I'll carry him. But when he got near, he started back. Ah, what eyes! Fire comes out of them. And he, too, turned away. Then the third man went. He is very small, he said. I can easily put him in my allsack. He stooped and took the little son under his arms. Oh, he cried, dropping the little baby on the red sand. What is this for you? It is like the fire under his arms. He burns me when I take him up. The others all came round to see. They didn't come too near, my Bassie, because they were frightened, but they wanted to see the strange brown baby that could talk and that burned like a fire. All of a sudden, he stretched himself. He turned his head and put up his little arms. Bright sparks flew from his eyes and yellow little streamed from under his arms, and here and there, the men of the early race fell over each other as they ran through the milk bushes back to the road. And they were frightened. The women were sitting there with their babies on their backs, waiting for their husbands. Come along, hurry. See that you get away from here, said the men without stopping. The women began to run too. What is it? What did you find? A terrible something, said the men, still running. It pretends to be a baby, but we know it is a metaverser. There it lies in the sand, begging one of us to pick it up and put it in our allsacks, but as soon as we go near it, it tries to burn us. And if we don't make haste and get away from here, it will certainly catch us. Then they ran faster than ever. As he knows. Oh no, corrected Alto, with a sly smile. Alto means Bassie, don't know. How frightenness makes wings grow on people's feet so that they seem to fly. So the men of the early race and the women with their babies on their backs flew, and very soon they were far from the place where the little son was lying. But someone had been watching my Bessie, watching from a bush nearby. It was Jackal, with his bright eyes and his sharp nose and his stomach close to the ground. When the people had gone, he crept out to see what had made them all run away. Hardly a leaf stirred, not a sound was heard. So softly he crept along under the milk bushes to where the little son lay. Ah, what a fine little child has been left behind by the men, he said. Now this is really a shame that none of them would put you into their all sacks. Carry me, put me in your all sack, said the little son. I haven't got an all sack, Bessie, said Jackal. But if you can, hold on, I'll carry you on my back. So Jackal lay flat on his stomach, and the little son caught a hold of a manar and rolled around on his back. Where do you want to go? Asked Jackal. There, where it far is, said the baby sleepily. Jackals trotted off with his nose to the ground and a sly look in his eye. He didn't care where the baby wanted to go. He was just going to carry him off to the krant where Tanta and the young jackals lived. If Bessie could have seen his face, oh man, he was smiling. And when Jackal smiles, it is the wickedest smile in the world. He was very pleased to think what he was taking home. Fat brown babies are as nice as fat sheep tails, so he went along quite jolly. If you've ever seen a jackal smile, it's kind of funny. If you haven't, just go watch the movie Lion King. They're pretty funny. But only at first. Soon his back began to burn where the baby's arms went around it. The heat got worse and worse until he couldn't hold on any longer. So, Bessie burns, he cried. Sail down a little further, Bessie, so that my neck can get cool. The little son slipped further down and held fast again, and Jackal trotted on. But soon he called out again, so. Now the middle of my back burns. Sail down a little further. The little son went further down and held fast again. And so it went on. Every time Jackal called out that he was burning, the baby slipped a little further and further, till at last he hold of Jackal by the tail. And then he wouldn't let go, even when Jackal called out. He held on, and Jackal, and his tail burnt and burnt. It was quite black. Help, help, he screamed. Ah, you little devil. Get off, let go. I'll punish you for this. I'll bite you. I'll gobble you up. My tail is burning. Help, help. And he jumped and bucked and rushed about the world, till at last the baby had to let go. Then Jackal jumped around and ran at the little son to bite him and gobble him up. But when he got near, a funny thing happened, my Bessie. Yes, truly, just when he was going to bite, he stopped halfway and shivered back as if someone had beaten him. At first, he had growled with crossness, but now he began to whine from frightenness. And why was it, my Bessie? Because from under the baby's arms streamed brightness and hotness, and out of the baby's eyes came streaks of fire, so that Jackal winked and blinked and tried to make himself small in the sand. Every time he opened his eyes a little, just like slits, there was the baby sitting straight in front of him, staring at him, so that he had to shut them again, quick, very quick. Come and punish me, said the baby. No, Bessie, oh no, said Jackal in a small little voice. Why should I punish you? Come and bite me, said the baby. No, Bessie, no, I could never think of it. Jackal made himself still a little smaller in the sand. "Come and gobble me up," said the baby. Then Jackal gave a yell and cried to crawl further back. "Such a fine little child," he said, trying to make his voice sweet. "Who would ever do such a wicked thing?" "You would," said the sun. "When you had carried me safely to your crons, you would have gobbled me up. You are so clever, Jackal, but sometimes and someday you will meet your match. Now look at me well." Jackal didn't want to look, my Bassie, but it was just as if something made his eyes go open, and he lay there staring at the baby, and the baby stared at him. So, my Bassie, just so, Alto stretched his eyes to their utmost and held each fascinated child in turn. "You'll know me again when you see me," said the baby, "but never, never again will you be able to look at me in the face. And now you can go." Fierce light shot from his eyes, and he blew at Jackal with all his might. His breath was like a burning flame, and Jackal, half dead with frightness, gave a great howl and fled away over the mountain. From that day, my Bassie, he has a black stripe right down his back to the tip of his tail, and he cannot bear the sun, but hides away all day with shut eyes, and only at night, when the old man with the bright armpits has gone to sleep, does he come out to hunt, look for food, and play tricks on other animals. Until next time, be well, take care.